Welcome to the Easy Teach Geography Toolbar. The Geography Toolbar, like the other subject area toolbars, are appropriate for a K-12 teaching environment. It depends on how creative your teacher is going to be as to how much she can accomplish with any of our toolbars. I'll start at the top of the Geography Toolbar with our grid overlays, which are nice to lay over any type of a map that you may have, whether it be a map, an image, a picture, something from Google Maps. Google Earth is a nice one, or anything that I've pulled out from underneath my document camera. I can put this grid overlay on top of it. The grid overlays are also fillable, and if I use the fill tool that's on my Geography Toolbar, as I fill up my boxes, it is actually in a transparent feature. The transparency is going to allow you to see whatever is underneath there. And as you can see, I can fill in with different colors, so essentially I am making a bar graph. So I can use this application for math as well and use it as a bar graph. It's nice to do that with the blank grid because now I can add my own labels when I simply go to my text tool. I can put labels onto my different columns and rows. Custom grids are also possible to make. So if I wanted to create a grid by a specific dimensions, I can choose that I want 6 columns and 10 rows or 6 columns and 3 rows and pull those out like so. I can also take off whether or not there will be any labeling on there. And if I decide that my size is too small or too large for that matter, I can bring my sides in and out and make it larger or smaller as needed. Now, one of the nice features about this is I can use this rectangular piece for the students to actually find area and perimeter right with that shape rather than actually shading a certain section for them to find the area or perimeter of. The next feature that I'd like to show you, I'm going to use in conjunction with Google Earth. We're going to be taking a look at the distometer. So I'm going to go out into glass mode. Glass mode is where I can have anything that I want from the internet, from another program on my computer, anything I can pull up on my computer. I am going to be able to use any of my Easy Teach tools with it. So I'm going to go out to my glass mode. My Easy Teach toolbar now becomes available so now we are back into Easy Teach. We have our Google Earth image is right here within our Easy Teach. You'll see that we actually have our Geography Toolbar, our Easy Teach toolbar right here. I'm going to slide our image up so that we are basically looking at the whole of Washington, D.C., including the Jefferson Memorial over here. And I'm going to grab out our distometer tool, in which I'm going to measure how far it is from one distance to another. Once I calibrate this tool, we'll start at one end of the reflecting pond, or I'm sorry, this is the park, to the other. I will set that calibration, and let's just say that that was a mile long. Then I'm going to go to my polyline so that I can choose multiple stops along my tour. And let's say that we are going to go from so here that's the Lincoln Memorial to the Jefferson, over to the Washington Monument, and then up to the White House. We do need to, however, come back this way. So we're going to come back through here and back here to meet our bus when we're all done. Now I can see my length up here that we are at 8.36, 8 3600ths of a mile. And when I close this out, it's actually going to bring the mileage right in for me. So we're going to have about 2 hours of walking that day when we look at our trip that way and make sure we budget in our time correctly for that, since we're doing a lot of walking. Maybe we want to get a taxi or grab one of those little trains along the way. Now for my younger students that aren't going to go to DC, we can instead make our own little map of DC. We can use the pictures that are available right within our map builder tools. And let's say they want to use one of these buildings as monuments or as schools or as graveyards of what we're going to be visiting on our field trip. They can draw the paths from one to another. And these paths, by the way, are lines. So if I wanted to use these lines to have an animation and have a car go down the road, I could do that as well. And then we just might want to actually add some vegetation along the way. So the younger students can really look at their communities this way, possibly map out their way to school and show everybody how they get to school. There are rulers within here as well. So if you're looking for a ruler in math, just go down to your geography or your science toolbars and you'll be able to find rulers right within those. Also, once you're using a grid overlay, one of the things that's also available is the fact that I can use this little navigation ball. It works very nicely over grid overlays. Depending on the age of my student, I may want to go to a more of a complete compass rose, and then we can move our navigation point from location to location. Scoot our navigator out of our way and then head back southeast. Now technically I can even bring in some math skills and ask my students what type of triangle this is. Kind of looks like an isosceles triangle to me. So the geography toolbar can be used K through 12. It can be used in other subject areas, not just in geography or social studies for the younger ones, but also say in math as a very good tool for bar graphs, line graphs, even when it gets down to doing area and perimeter as well. For the rest of our subject area toolbars, be sure to visit us at rmeducation.com.